Welcome to the Shaping Portsmouth podcast. Shaping Portsmouth is a collaboration of key Portsmouth businesses, transforming Portsmouth together. And welcome to another Shaping Portsmouth podcast with me, CEO Dave Humphries. And today I am joined by Sarah Rhodes and Tatum Isaacs from SLR Recruitment. Welcome.
Thank you.
In fact, I should say the multi-award-winning SLR Recruitment. Yes. So first and foremost, congratulations on the awards.
Thank you so much. We're still pinching ourselves that happened.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing night, wasn't it? Just incredible.
Brilliant. And we'll come back to that in a little while. But let's start by finding out a bit about the two of you. So before we delve into how SLR Recruitment came to be, tell me a bit about yourselves. So are you both from Portsmouth?
Yes. You were born and bred, aren't you? I moved here when I was 11 from Hemel Hempstead and haven't looked back since.
Right.
We're both mums of two boys. I actually met Tate moons ago because she used to be my husband's hairdresser.
Right.
And then we had our children at the same time. So our paths have continued to cross over the last sort of 10 years. And now I can't get rid of her.
Yeah.
She sacks me all the time, Dave, and I just keep coming back.
Yeah, I can
just turn back up Monday.
I somehow get a sense that your office could be quite an entertaining place to work.
Anywhere Tate is entertaining.
Yeah. Thanks. I'll take that as a compliment, you see. Thank you.
So, you said you came from Hemel Hempstead. What brought you to Portsmouth?
So my parents split up and my mum's family lived down here. So we used to come down for summer holidays, spend the days on the beach and in the pyramids. And every time we go back to Hemel Hempstead, there was just nothing there, nothing like Portsmouth. So, Mum made the plunge and we moved down here, changed schools, and I couldn't imagine living anywhere else now.
Brilliant. Glad you came.
Oh, yeah, being so close to the beach.
Yeah. And you used to live like on the beach practically, didn't you?
And
at the top of Palmy Road you used to live.
Well, previous to that, we were like
years and years ago, but as an adult, I meant.
But also, bringing up children in Portsmouth is just, I don't know where else you would want to bring up children. It's got everything to, take them out and all these free days out there are available to us. Whereas in Hemel Hempstead, it was just fields.
Yeah.
That was it. Just a couple of fields. Yeah.
There is a lot to do here. Definitely.
So much.
Definitely. So, you've obviously met through your husband's hair cutting.
Yeah. I did Will's hair for years.
Gave him the David Beckham
years.
look, didn't
I did. I used to work for huge hairdressers. I qualified and my first haircut was Will. And I thought, thank God, because he had bob length hair. And I thought, thank God, that'll be quick. And he came and he said, I want it like David Beckham. So 2 hours later.
But which David Beckham phase was that?
Oh, gosh.
It was the quiff.
The
quiff.
The 2005 version.
Yeah, not the Mohican then.
No, we weren't. No, we were over that. So, and then I did Will's hair for years. And like Sarah said, we crossed over. And then my youngest, I was kind of doing hairdressing still part-time. My youngest was just about to go to school. And I came round to yours, nipped round to yours one day, and her and another girl that works for us were manic. I said, oh my God, you're round your dining room table. I said, God, you're so busy. She went, oh yeah, you don't want to like do a few hours on a Thursday, do you? I was like, yeah, all right. And then that was that. And then I had to make the plunge. Do I go, when my son started school, I thought, do I hairdress or do I do recruitment? So Sarah forced me to give up hairdressing.
I did. But I think the one skill is with Tate, where she was a hairdresser, is she can talk to anybody.
Yeah.
She can talk and talk and talk. And I think that is a must-have skill to be a recruiter.
Yeah.
But also to be able to adapt the conversation. So you can talk to a low-skilled, just entering the workforce labourer, say, and relate. And then you could talk to the Prime Minister and be able to relate. And I think that's a skill that is self-taught. It's just something that
definitely. And also obviously when you're a hairdresser you're in such close proximity with someone, you never know how it's going to go. So I do find that I find dealing with awkward confrontations and awkward situations quite easy. So and we get a lot of that.
Yeah, we do.
So, so obviously you've dragged Tatum in
By my hair.
from hairdressing. So how did it start for you before that?
So I worked, when I was 19, I joined the ships P&O out of Portsmouth, and I worked for 8 years at sea. I had a bit of a sliding doors day where I had 2 interviews. One interview for a recruitment resourcer in Portsmouth and one interview for Carnival Cruises for a job that I was very underqualified for. I obviously got the recruitment resourcer role. And so I started doing that and organically found my way back into the marine sector, resourcing for marine roles. It turned out I was pretty good at it. So I did that for 10 years. And then I had my first son, Harry. When I went to return back to work, it was full-time or nothing. Right. And I'm sure lots of women can relate. When you have a baby, you don't think past having a baby. Like, what does returning back to work look like? What does childcare? How much is that going to cost? And so when I went back and they said, right, you need to be in at 8 till 6, Monday to Friday, and I priced up childcare, I was like, that's insanity. I'm not going to do that. So I dabbled in a little bit of self-employed work, and then me and my husband kind of had the conversation. It was like, it's a now or never moment. When am I ever going to be in a position where I only need to bring in £600 a month for us to survive as a family? Because we were used to that being the contribution that I could bring. So SLR was born at that time. My mum invested £5,000 in me, so I could buy a laptop, get a decent phone contract, and I had, a couple of months rent under my belt, and SLR was born. So it's just me, my laptop, my phone, and a baby, and then very quickly fell pregnant with my second son as well, which was in hindsight a bonkers thing to do. I was very tired, Dave.
I think
I was very tired.
Yeah,
Still am.
I've heard the line used before that having one child is like a demanding pet. Having 2 is like owning the whole damn zoo.
Oh, absolutely. And then people say, have another one because it's no different. I'm like, you couldn't pay me enough to have another one.
I've also seen that quote where they say the first one leads you into a false sense of security because they're usually quite good sleepers. They
also, you've got all the time.
I know. And then the second one comes and they are just feral.
Yeah.
Don't sleep, nightmares. Yeah, so it was a bonkers time, and for the first couple of years there was a lot of tears and thinking, what on earth am I doing?
So and how was that journey for you in terms of knowing what you were doing, and
I think
what support could you access, if any?
To be honest, at the time, because I only had the nap time in the afternoons, it really was just survival and consistency and keeping going and not giving up. And then COVID hit, and that's when SLR went through the roof. But I think the biggest lesson I learned in those first 2 years was to niche. And so I tried I just wanted to succeed. I'd say yes to everything, even if it wasn't my expertise. So I was doing, everything that wasn't marine, and I wasn't passionate about it. But as soon as I niched down back into the marine sector where my passion was very obvious, I was winning more jobs. The contractors were coming to me. It all became quite seamless. COVID hit, and then my business went through the roof because we brought all our ships into ports. We had the time to fix them, do all the maintenance, and all the contractors were key contractors.
Right.
So they could go to work. So I went from...
The Navy need their ships, right?
Exactly. I went from nothing to 80 men out on site overnight.
Wow.
And it was bonkers. And that's when I was like, oh, I need help. I can't keep up. So that's when the team started to grow.
Because obviously COVID is the sort of blip in most people's stories, especially people.
That's how you do your timeline, isn't it? Like COVID.
Yeah, it's true.
But a lot of people say, I just set up my business, everything was going great, and then COVID came along.
Yeah. I'm the opposite.
Yeah, completely the opposite. Yeah. It's actually been your springboard.
That's it. And I think it really was then... it's the marine sector is foolproof, and whenever I talk to our clients in the marine sector, we'll always need our boats. Yeah, they'll always need fixing. The Navy, they'll always need maintaining, etc. So it's it's a good sector to be in.
So obviously, a marine connection with Portsmouth, but you've expanded out way beyond just operating in the city, haven't you?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So on the marine side of our business, our biggest site is actually Birkenhead up in Liverpool.
Oh, right. Wow.
We've got a lot in Scotland, Falmouth, and then a lot across, Southampton, etc.
Yeah.
But madly, not a lot in Portsmouth, which is insane to us. We find it really hard to get anybody into our dockyard due to security clearance, etc.
Right.
So I think then that's kind of what's SLR Local is born out of, because you going back to support as well and what support was available to me in those first 2 years. I don't think I went and sought any out because I didn't have time. But as soon as, the team came, there was a little bit of money in the bank. It then allowed me the time to come out and make the connections. So become part of Shaping Portsmouth, work with Promodzi, do all those sort of things. And that's when the connections in our community have grown tenfold.
Yeah.
And opened up so many more opportunities for us, haven't they?
And we've had so much kindness shown as well. Like Becky's been incredible when we didn't have an office and we needed to hold interviews for the Portsmouth Dockyard. She would do a little space for us, wouldn't she? And she would have us have all our candidates come in here. And that's really nice because it shows off Spark, but also it was a really inviting space for candidates to come into. Because some of them haven't been in work for ages for the cleaning job in Portsmouth. So they were really, it's quite intimidating coming into an office. So coming in somewhere like this, Becky was great for that, wasn't she?
Yeah,
really,
she
it
was
so
amazing.
welcoming.
And it
so
also
accommodating.
showed us how important the Spark Community Cafe space is.
Yeah, 100%.
And off the back of that, we became an ambassador, didn't we? Because just this space is so special.
It is. How can
and
you,
so
how can
needed.
anyone not be?
Yeah.
So, Tatum, you obviously first in the growing team.
Actually,
there.
I wasn't.
Weren't you?
Sammy was the first in. And Sammy's just left. Because she's got a very incredible fitness business and she needed to hang up her SLR boots for her to excel, and she will. We know she will. It was a bit like where I was, wasn't it? So she's done that. This is our first week without Sammy, so we're all missing her loads. But she was the first one in, and she had a really interesting story. She was a dancer on the cruise ships, and she actually got stuck on her boat for... How long was she in her cabin? Couple of months with COVID.
In Australia,
Yeah. So she was like on her own, meals passed through the door. Yeah, it was crazy. So she then came and worked for you, didn't she? She did. So she was the first one in. I was the next one.
You were next. So, and how was it joining SLR at that time?
Yeah, great, because we were very small, weren't we? We had Birkenhead. We had all the sites, but there was it was nowhere like it was now.
No, we were literally around my dining room table and or
Coffee shops.
But then we realised that we were becoming too loud for coffee shops, and there's only so much coffee you can drink. But it was the dining room table we were there for a good 4 years.
Yeah, yeah, and then we got our first space that we shared in Palmerston Road. Yeah, and then we've got our space now, so we've evolved quite quickly.
And obviously, a really big shift in occupation for you. You know, there's very little connection between hairdressing and marine recruitment.
Absolutely.
So how did you find that, the transition?
Hard, actually.
The IT for you was really hard, wasn't it?
Yeah, the databases, the processes that we did, that was all very tricky for me because I haven't used a computer for 20 years. I'm social media I'm savvy on, but my phone, but not on a laptop. I think one day I was like, Sarah, it's just going round and round and round. She's like, when was the last time you actually turned it off? I said, I don't know how to do that. She's like, well, what do you mean? I said, I just shut it. She's like, oh my God. So that was very tough. And I think when you're learning a new skill, it takes a lot of brain space. I did think quite a few times, I don't think I've made the right decision. But Sarah's always been very supportive and very encouraging. So I'm glad I stuck with it.
It just goes to show, though, that, when we are looking for new people, none of bar a couple, but none of the people that have joined SLR since have got a recruitment background, because recruitment isn't hard to learn.
No.
You have to learn the database, you have to learn the processes, like you say, but it's just being relatable. It's just being able to talk to someone and glean the right information out of them, build that relationship with the client who then trusts you to resource and recruit for them. it's not rocket science.
No.
Yeah.
And Tate, you know, she had that in abundance. So the patience from us to teach you the IT was very much worth it.
Yeah, and I love going to see clients. That's my favourite thing.
Oh yeah, you're
Client-
networking.
Networking is my favourite thing.
And I suppose you see it quite a lot in small business, especially in partnerships where you've got two people working closely together. Quite often they have very different strengths, which ultimately balance out well for the organisation.
Yeah, that's it. I'm the savvy, responsible one.
And I'm the fun one. Yeah, I'm definitely the one that lacks a little bit less common sense. I think.
It's a nice way to put it.
I was going to say less brain cells.
Let's stick with the fun one. Who needs common sense?
Exactly,
anyway?
that's what you're for.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people, especially entrepreneurs, if they applied common sense to their journey, they probably wouldn't be doing what they were doing now.
No, absolutely.
So, no.
Yeah.
You got to be a little bit bonkers to own your own business.
Definitely. So we've touched on SLR Local. So what on earth's that all about?
So going back where we said, you know, it's really hard to put anybody into Portsmouth Dockyard, because a lot of people know us now, you know, our friends, our own communities, we would have people reach out to us, how can you help my son find a job? You know,
is he a painter? No.
And then all these connections that we've made in the city and all these businesses that we have met through Shaping Portsmouth as well. Why are we not helping the people on our doorstep? And we're connectors, aren't we?
Yeah.
So we've got all these candidates coming into our office. We've got all these businesses and relationships that we're building over here. Why are we not connecting the dots? And so we had a bit of a brainstorming moment, didn't we, in the office?
It was quite quick. It was like a team meeting, wasn't it? And then we were like, what should we call it? And Jodie was like, SLR Local. We were like, yeah,
let's go for that.
That's what I mean. That's brain cells.
Yeah. And it's brand new. You know, we launched it at the conference in January. And it has just grown legs so quickly. It's all
been so organic, hasn't it? And then the office downstairs was, it's been available for ages, but there was loads of businesses have been like going in, they're not going in, they're not going in. And I think the estate agent reached out to you, didn't they?
No, it was just still empty, and I thought I really want that office. But previous, I was like, I can't really warrant the cost of it. And then SLR Local started to get all this traction. I was like, actually, it needs its own space. And then
it just made sense, didn't it?
We can rent it out as well. It's a beautiful office. We're really looking. We've got the launch coming up, which we're really excited to show it off. But for other businesses, if I had a space in those first couple of years that I could have gone to and had that sort of co-work share place instead of a coffee shop, I would have loved that.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it's interesting because I've had a few conversations with businesses that are in the sort of city enterprise centres, and one of the things they all say is the big advantage is actually being able to talk to some of the other businesses and get those little bits of advice and realise that actually the pain they're feeling
is normal.
Is something that everyone goes through, and I can see why that would be a really, really good thing.
And we want to do it low cost. It doesn't, you know, we just want the space to be available for as many people as possible when we're not in it. It is just a wonderful,
lovely. There's parking. It's central.
Yeah.
You don't even have to drive. Like, we're in Fratton, so we're a 3-minute walk from the train station. It's really it's nice.
Nice and convenient.
Yeah, really convenient.
So how big is the whole SLR business now in terms of the people you've got?
10 employees.
10 employees.
Yeah.
So from 3 of you around the dining room table.
It is. It's been a really exciting journey. Honestly, Dave, I still pinch myself that this was never the agenda. You know, I just wanted to pay my bills. I say that all the time, don't I? So to get to this point,
she's just got back from Mauritius.
I know. It's this was. It's just bonkers to me that we're at this point. And the fire in my belly and yours is still there.
All of ours,
you know, we still want to keep going. We still want to keep growing.
We've still got loads of things in the pipeline that we want to evolve. And when we come up against the hurdle, we're like, we just want to get it quicker. We want to kick that hurdle out the way and get it done quicker because we have got so many ideas and we're not just a normal recruitment. I know people say that, but we're not. We want to be part of the community. And touching on the awards again, I think that proved it, that we were.
So I think one thing I certainly notice is you are in those community spaces and you're supporting Spark, Pomodzi, us, all of those things. And I think it was something that cropped up in the awards, and I think they actually said it when they kind of read the citation out, that quite often you are in that space and supporting at the same level as the big businesses are, but you're a much smaller business. How important is that community side and the connection to the city for you?
Oh my gosh,
The most important.
Yeah, the more we can do in the city and the more we can give back. It all started with Pomodzi. So anyone who knows Ronnie, as soon as you look her in the eye, that's it. You're sucked in. But I was invited along to the Inspirational Women's Awards when it was at the Royal Maritime Hotel, and to just see how poignant and incredible it is to hear those women's stories and highlight all the incredible things that people are doing in the city. It was so special that, when she asked me to be a non-exec director for Pomodzi, I was in.
No brainer.
The sponsorship level, it's great to be able to support Pomodzi so that they can be at the Guildhall level, which is the highest stage that we can be at in Portsmouth. There's nowhere bigger for us to showcase anymore, is there? But also, for us, from our point of view, it gets our name out there as well, and it gets us connecting with more people and more businesses. It's a bit of a no-brainer.
But it's never been about the clout for you, for SLR. It's always been about the passion. You've never supported any, as SLR, you've never supported, she's never said yes to anyone that, we don't feel super passionate about what they do, Yeah. Everyone, Shaping, Pomodzi, Spark, anything, whether it be £100, whether it be $7,000, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's about the passion and what they deliver as an organisation,
Yeah, because there's that. There's also Portsmouth and South Coast Business Week.
Yeah.
How
could we forget that?
So
that was so fun.
Which was a brilliant week.
That was so fun.
yeah.
We've made some fantastic connections out of that.
Yeah.
Like met some real business friends for life, haven't we?
Yeah, Daniel O'Brien.
Daniel O'Brien. Oh, I love him. He's just hilarious. Hashtag hunting Humphries.
Yes. Yeah.
I had a very interesting conversation with him yesterday about some sort of fancy dress thing. Very odd.
He's invited us to go and do beekeeping on Friday as well.
Has
On
he?
LinkedIn, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Are you going?
Beekeeping, yes.
I can't go, unfortunately, but you should go.
Yeah.
Where is it? It doesn't matter.
I have
Actually.
no idea. But,
On the podcast.
He's
Where is
showing
it?
up.
It's here.
Digress.
Actually, don't worry. Yeah, sorry about
making
that.
our arrangements for later in the week. Yeah. But no, Dan is definitely out there in his thinking.
Yeah.
One of a
Comes
kind,
up with
isn't he?
some great ideas.
He's really, I aspire to Daniel because he is out
He's a
there. He's
LinkedIn
networking. He
god.
is doing everything for Citrus to
Yeah.
get them out. And, he's making
he's
some
fun.
great connections along the way. But he cares. His passion and his care for the community really comes through. I really like
Yeah.
There's
And he's up the selfie game, hasn't he?
He definitely
Seriously.
has. It's it'll be a restraining order soon.
You know what to do
Definitely.
about that, Dave.
Yeah.
But no, there's some really great businesses in the city, like yourselves, like Citrus, people like Mountjoy. There's a
Yeah.
whole list I could reel out of businesses that are really strong in supporting the community. And I think for me it's always one of the things that sets Portsmouth apart
Yeah.
from other places is
I agree.
that sense of community.
Yeah.
Especially within the business community. It is really, really good. So great that SLR Local has come onto the scene. Really looking forward to the launch. So and getting to see the
Yes.
office.
Yeah.
So that's going to be great. But yeah, we've mentioned the awards. So you were nominated. And normally the awards would be the sort of the finale to Portsmouth and South Coast Business Week.
Yes.
This year, because of Guildhall bookings, they were a little bit apart. But obviously you were nominated in the small business category.
Yes, that's right.
Which and obviously for some context, I did end up being on the judging panel for the awards, so I know how many nominees there were. That category was stupid.
Yeah.
The numbers of businesses that were nominated.
Yeah, and when we saw that we were shortlisted and who the other businesses,
We were a
that
bit like, oh no,
Yeah, we were like, oh,
like,
we're not gonna
amazing
win
for
that.
them, but ooh.
yeah, and there was a lot of you know, the play cafe.
Yeah,
and
amazing.
I thought,
I
yeah,
wish
if
that
someone
was-
like that was
yeah.
gonna.
I wish I had that
win
when my kids were younger. It's so wonderful there, isn't it?
No, it was just an absolute. To even be alongside in that category with all those, to be shortlisted at that point was,
I agree.
And that's the thing. There were a lot of categories there where actually just making it into the room was
absolutely.
quite an achievement when you look at the amount of nominations that were there.
Yeah.
I think that the small business was probably the most fiercely fought category in terms of the volume of nominees there. Yeah. But did you have any? Did you go thinking we this would be good? We could win this. No,
absolutely not. Because I said to you when it came out in the paper, didn't I?
Yeah.
I was like,
because that's it. We didn't know till the week before the rest of the rest of the finalists.
Right.
Because it got published, didn't it?
And I thought, these newer, smaller businesses are doing such great things, and we're a recruitment agency, you know. But then I saw you at the door, and you didn't look me in the eye, and I thought, something's going on here.
So, yeah.
You were like, oh.
It was like, oh God, I've seen Sarah. I'm really busy. I've got to go.
I was like, Mum, Dave's a bit weird.
Yeah.
It wasn't very chatty. I think we might be in.
Trying to avoid
everybody
having conversations with anyone that was nominated at that point, especially the ones when you hadn't got it.
Yeah,
but yeah, the obviously I walk in and you're directly in front of me. I was like, oh. So yeah, I just thought I'd just say hello and move on quick.
Yeah, you did.
So by not saying anything, I probably said something. But
yeah.
Hey, so no inkling at all. So yeah, I find that just surprising that you didn't think, you were really hopeful that it was going to be.
I mean, obviously we were hopeful we were going to win, but it was, was there 10 of us in the category?
Yeah.
It was a big category. So
and obviously the advantage of having inside knowledge, I was able to sit and watch the look on your faces on the table across as it was announced, which was great to be able to do. And you did look so surprised.
Yeah, absolutely.
But obviously that wasn't the start of it.
No.
Because we then went through a whole evening of some other really fabulous businesses winning amazing awards, and then the final Business of the Year award, which took in all of those winners as the nominees.
Well, we never knew that was a thing, so we've never been to the awards before.
Right.
So yeah, my mum actually read the booklet and was like, "Oh, there's an overall winner where all the award recipients go into." And
we were like,
oh yeah. And then I was like, "Well, it's Mountjoy, all the bigger ones." I was like, "Well, we're not going to win that. There's no way, compared to those big businesses." So that was
shock. That was shock.
That was. Do you know what? I don't think we
you could
came
see it
down
in our face.
from. Still don't think we have come down from.
Well,
Cloud
do you know what?
9.
I forget. And then you go there standing proud in our local office, and I went in there yesterday to sort out something in the little space out the back.
They're such beautiful trophies.
And I was like, oh God, I forgot. Not that you know. And then you're like, oh God, it was amazing. Yeah. It is kind of a blur.
It is, yeah.
And not because we were the only table, may I say, with wine bottles still full on our table.
Yeah, we
weren't drinking that night, were we? Yeah, so it wasn't because of that. We had just
come back from Liverpool as well, hadn't we?
Oh,
so we've been up to Liverpool. And so that's another thing.
Yes.
When your diary's so busy, as I'm sure you know, you get to
deep actually, because we knew it would be a lot of
Thursday
networking.
evening, you were like, oh, come on then, we can do this. So it was, thank goodness we did.
Thank goodness, yeah. Put our glad rags on.
Definitely. And again, I had the joy of watching your faces again at that moment.
That was genuine. That was like tenfold shock, wasn't it?
I think that moment, that as I said earlier, the end to the whole evening with yourselves and then Lulu Whitmore getting the outstanding achievement award.
What's really lovely
such
is
a great end.
me and Lou share a WhatsApp group with some other women in the city that was started by Jen years ago, and it's called the Happy Millionaires Group. So it's all these like women in the city that really want to do well, and we're just like manifesting being millionaires one day. And Lou and I have been in this group for years, and so she posted in the group when I had gone up.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, and so it was such a joy to then be able to post her going up in the group in the video, and then sharing it with our little community. Yeah,
because obviously for Lulu, she had no idea whatsoever.
No.
And
the picture of her face.
She wasn't on the nominees list, so was invited as a guest to the council to get her in.
Oh, really?
Thank God she said yes.
Yeah. So she was in the building, and there's that brilliant picture of
Yeah.
Jane Lemaire and
Yeah.
Yvonne Clay either side reacting.
Yeah.
It is fabulous. But yeah, so at that moment, that is a big achievement, that award.
That's
does not take anything away from that. And it was, the competition was enormous. And there was so much debate around all of the awards. So what does that actually mean to you, winning that?
I think for me, when you are, wide awake at 3:00 in the morning, and your brain's going 100 miles an hour because there's so much responsibility on your plate to run a business, and the amount of money that we're owed and people's salaries, and, you can spiral a little bit out of control. And to see SLR be recognised to that level by our peers, by, other people that we respect in our community, like yourselves, Mark, Joe. Is just, it just cements that what we're doing, we're on our right path.
Yeah, I was about to say that
we have got so much more to give.
Yeah.
And it's just,
yeah.
There's no words, is it?
No.
It's just still buzzing. I mean, honestly, Dave, I've been away on holiday since then, and you come home and then you're just back into the grind of, chasing invoices and people not turning up for work, etc. And then you remember and you're like, oh my God, that is just, incredible. It's just, what an accolade for us.
It's amazing. It's so amazing. And I think I was just about to say, it makes you feel like it's all worth it. It is worth it anyway, but like you nailed it on the head, like that we've been recognised.
Yeah.
I think that's amazing.
Because it's not easy. It's not easy to run your own business and to grow it to this level. It is, you got to have thick skin. You got to make some hard decisions sometimes. And there are moments where it can feel really fragile. Like you can, if one of our clients was to go bust, that would have such a detriment effect. And, you're just kind of always like wishing.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's and obviously I get to go out and talk to a lot of different businesses about the challenges and the problems they face, and that's cropped up a few times where someone has had quite a significant client just go, and the knock-on effect that has. And actually, I know a couple of businesses locally linked to the sort of shaping community that the loss of a client has almost been existential for them. And almost taken them down. So that
pressure.
Clearly, a lot of stress and worry around the whole thing.
Yeah.
But as you say, I suppose the fact that you're being seen. And people are recognising what's going on, your journey, and actually acknowledging that must be brilliant.
Oh, it's amazing. And I think as well, it also, it gives the SLR brand and us more it makes us more recognised for other businesses to come along and, have these conversations with us.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's
a bit of credibility, if you like.
Credibility is a great word, So to start from, yourself and a laptop to get to that point and be an award-winning business.
Double award-winning.
So
from merit is...
So what advice would the double award-winning Sarah Rhodes go back and give to dining room table laptop Sarah Rhodes?
Just I
get
suppose, get a Tate.
I'm joking.
I would actually, Tate. SLR is, you
Thanks.
are SLR now. just don't give up. You know, keep the faith, keep believing, and there's no point stressing and worrying about things that haven't happened. There's no point you laying there and thinking, oh God, if Camel Laird was to go bust, what would that mean for us? Don't think like that.
But also, Seb, be integral, because that is always your number one. And there's been lots of things since I've been here, because mistakes happen all the time. And there's been mistakes, huge mistakes on site sometimes, hasn't there, that have been out of your hands. And Sarah's always just gone, who told us to eat the frog? Always just gone straight to the client and said, look, this has happened. I'll hold my hands up, or, you know, it couldn't have been helped. How do we fix it? And I think that's where that relationship with that client has been so strong, because Sarah's always instilled into us a lot as well. Be honest, hold your hands up if you've effed up, if you like.
Someone said to us the other day, didn't they? We were talking about some marketing, and they were like, "Oh, smoke and mirrors." But it's all smoke and
Sarah
mirrors.
was like, "No,
no, we're not trying to be something that we're not. You know, like, be true to yourself. Be true to what you can do, and also the power of no. It is okay to say no. That took me a good few years to learn. That is what I would tell Sarah at the dining room table.
Okay.
It's okay to say no.
What about you, Tatum? Because obviously, you know, could you imagine when you were back doing hairdressing that you would be on that stage picking up the award?
I dragged you, didn't I?
I was like, oh God. No, of course not. If you had asked me 10 years ago, if you'd said to me 10 years ago, in 10 years you'll be having an office job, I would have said that is the most boring thing in the world. That absolutely no way would that be me. But also, like, I think when you have a career for so long and you get to a certain age, you think, well, this is my career for life now, isn't it? You know, Dave, you've had a huge career change. And I just would encourage anybody that is not happy in their career to take the leap and do something else. And because there's always someone that will believe in you and give you that chance. So yeah, I think I wouldn't look back. There's no way I still do hairdressing, like my mum and my husband's mum, and I've got a couple of friends that I do, but that's really so I see them. But that's it. Like, I don't do. Sarah won't even let me do the team. People are like, well, you cut my hair. She's like, no, she doesn't do that anymore. No. She doesn't do that anymore.
She's got resource.
She's got work. But that's nice. I wouldn't look back. I've made the right decision.
So what advice would you have given Tatum, the hairdresser, if you went back now?
Leave earlier. What advice would I have given her? I suppose just have a bit of faith, because, I just thought that's what I did. That's what I would do for the rest of my life, because I didn't know how to work a laptop. So I think just have a bit of faith in yourself.
I suppose it's interesting when you make quite a significant change, because obviously you alluded to me, and I definitely, especially when I first started, had a huge amount of imposter syndrome.
Yeah, that's it. Imposter syndrome.
Yeah. I
think it took a really long time, and Sarah was like, I have you here for a reason. If you were crap, you'd be gone. Yeah. You are here for a reason. And I was like, and it, to the point where I think Sarah, I'd like look at her, like eye roll, like, oh God, she'd have to like coach me again and counsel me out of my imposter syndrome.
Do you still get imposter syndrome now?
Sometimes.
I do as well.
Sometimes.
So we're doing the launch tomorrow, and I'm just like, absolutely, like, no one's going to turn up. We've never put on an event like this, so it actually feels a little bit self-indulgent to do this.
As I'm going, I think we need to open upstairs. Everyone's going to turn up.
But it's that imposter syndrome. You're like, ooh.
Yeah, I suppose for me, and a bit like you tomorrow maybe, that the conference is a bit of a defining moment. You know, you don't get an annual appraisal. You stand on the stage, the Guildhall, in front of 500 people and explain what you've done for the last year. So that was a bit of a whoa. So a lot of imposter syndrome around that.
It looked like you've been doing it for years, Dave.
Thank you.
Yeah, it did. Natural.
Yeah. I can see where you're coming from with that and relate. So what do you think the future for SLR looks like?
So I would love to see, we've secured some really big contracts with the likes of Mountjoy in the city. I would love to see us connecting more people to those roles and creating more relationships like that within the city. My next goal that I really want to drive forward is to open a training school. Right. So have a training school in the heart of the city that will offer ECITB courses, CSCS, train the painter, so that there's nothing in the city that offers people that. But not only just people that are coming out of school or college that want to go and gain that ticket to then be able to go onto site and work, but also to help, the the people that aren't good in education, the people that it doesn't suit, because it doesn't suit everyone. As a governor for TSAT, I see that a lot, that it's not everybody fits inside the box. And actually, just because you don't fit inside that box, why don't you try your hand at doing some industrial painting?
Because that can take you all over the world.
All over,
Such
and
a good
it's
skill.
so, it's so well paid. So to be able to offer those opportunities to, the people in the city that aren't ticking all the correct boxes as we feel, society thinks that they should. I think there's a real need for it in Portsmouth, and I would love to be the one to drive that forward under the SLR banner.
Wow, that'd be great to see it happening. And I think you're so right. I think people sometimes get pushed to think about, you could be the managing director of this or that, when really, actually, they need a bit of help to understand how maths and English might help them achieve something a lot more practical.
Absolutely.
And that actually sometimes, especially with apprenticeships, you can go out, get a skill, get a trade, learn, still get a degree even,
and be paid
whilst earning money,
paid while
and
you
not be
learn.
saddled with loads of debt. And
be in that work environment.
Yeah, which is better for some people than the academic space.
100%. 100%.
No, brilliant. Oh, it'd be great to see that become a reality.
Yeah.
So we will definitely watch that space, and certainly wish everyone at SLR well with the rest of that journey.
Thank you
and
so
where
much.
you go next. Now, we always like to finish our podcasts by reflecting back on the city and asking you for a recommendation of somewhere to go, something to do. So what would be yours, Sarah?
Well, I think Tate and we love a spicy margarita. Or just a mug.
We'll hunt it out.
We will hunt it out.
Yeah.
And so I think for myself, and I don't know if you would agree,
I
in
agree.
the city is where does the best mug. There's two, isn't there?
There's two.
So Croxton's.
Right.
Great mug, but amazing food as well.
Oh, the food.
And they use their meat from Bransbury Butchers, which is our favourite butchers. We go there once a week.
See the team there.
Tate has a little flirt up with one of the butchers because he knocks a bit of money off.
Don't say that in case Steve watches it. Listens. But no, they're great, aren't they? And it's been a family butchers for years, so we're really... And Croxton's is a Pompey lad who's opened it, and
and the best roast there in the winter as well.
Just amazing.
And then the
I've
other
never
mug.
tried that.
I've not tried the roast either. I've tried the small plates and they're exceptional, but I've not tried the roast.
Do you like a mug?
No, it's not what I'd get with my normal drink of choice.
Have you ever had a mug?
Only on holiday.
Oh.
We need to fix that.
Do you like beer?
Yes.
They've got their own beer and they've called it shant, haven't they? Because that's a Pompey,
not tried that one,
Pompey
but
word.
yeah.
It's like shant,
They
so
have.
that's what
I've
they've
seen
got.
it, yeah.
That I love because they serve that at Victoria's. It's great.
And then the other good mug is Southsea Spirit.
Oh my God, South Sea Spirit,
So
little
where's
bar
that?
in Albert Road.
Opposite the Wedgwood Rooms.
So a lady called Harriet's opened it, and it's very small, but it's just buzzing when you go. And I had a spicy coconut margarita, and I've dreamt about it. I can't get it out of my head. It's so good. But that's just drinks there. It's a little bar, but it's a great place to start. It's dead opposite the Wedge. So I'd recommend people there if they haven't been. Great little cocktail bar.
Okay. And do you want to come up with a recommendation of your own, or are you sticking with the margs as well, Tatum?
Yeah, well, the briny, actually.
Oh, the briny.
We're all food and drink related,
Yeah,
aren't we?
always.
That's not a bad thing.
Yeah, Portsmouth do great food and drink.
Yeah, the briny. And I love it now. I must admit, when they did the sea defence and you could no longer sit and look at the sea, I was like, oh no. But I saw that last weekend they put all their seats out on the sea, like so you could look over the sea defence. And now that they've done all that, we went there the other week and there was a guy, like a busker, professional busker, playing the drums.
Yeah.
It was really cool. So yeah, that would be my first spot if the sun's out. Lovely rosé, seafood,
Yeah.
drum guy. South Sea Drum, I think he's called. I think he's called South Sea
So
Drummer.
we've got a lot out of that one.
I know.
You know, so
And
need to try some
these need to happen.
margaritas. Roast dinner at Croxton's.
Yeah.
It's now got to go on the list.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The Briny's
Briny.
is a definite
favourite.
anyway,
It's the only
but
place I like an Aperol spritz as well.
Not tried it since the sea defence work,
Yeah.
actually.
Oh,
So it's
you
a really
should,
good shout.
And that
So,
as well, I would
yeah.
highly recommend, like on a sunny day, if no one has, just to do the walk of the new sea defence, because it's fantastic, isn't it? It's so beautiful. They've done it so well.
Yeah,
so well done. They've done the city proud.
Yeah, they really have. You get a beer from the pier, walk up, let your kids go on the bikes.
And when you think it's not just the South Sea seafront, that goes all the way around the city. They've all the way
it's
around
incredible.
when it's completed.
Yeah, it's
an
really
amazing
good.
job.
Yeah.
So brilliant. Well, I could chat to you both for so
This is
much
the problem.
more. Yeah, definitely. But really great story. Such a
Dave.
success.
Thank you.
Huge congratulations on the awards.
Thank you so much.
Well deserved. Thank you very much for all your support, not just for Shaping Portsmouth, but for all the other organisations and initiatives across the city that SLR support, because it does make a difference.
Thank you.
Having businesses like yourselves
always.
supporting those community ventures. And thank you for coming in. It's been great chatting to you.
Thanks
both.
for having us.
Oh, God. Chuckle Brothers.
Well, what a way to finish. Brilliant. Nice to see you,
Thanks,
mate.
Dave.
Thanks, Dave.
This podcast was brought to you by Shaping Portsmouth, working to make Portsmouth the #1 UK city in which to invest, live, learn, work and visit. To find out more, please visit shapingportsmouth.co.uk. This podcast was supported by Spark Community Space and Portsmouth Community Lottery.